You guys, I'm going to teach you the top 6 ways to make massive amounts of money selling used textbooks on Amazon. It does not matter when you're watching this video, whether it's the middle of textbook season, before, after, does not matter. You're going to get massive amounts of value out of this video. Okay, so what is textbook season? Let's define it. Textbook season happens twice a year, and it's the period in which textbook sales explode just before each school semester. And this happens in January, then it happens again in August. And it's not just textbooks that see an explosion in sales. It really affects all books. You'll see a spike of just about every book across the board in terms of sales, but also particularly scholarly nonfiction, books that are purchased by college students don't really look like textbooks necessarily. And I have to be clear about this. Textbooks sell year round. So this is not the 2 times a year when textbooks sell. It's just the 2 times a year when textbook sales go completely bonkers, off the chain, and explode like crazy. Okay, so how much can you expect your sales to surge in January and August, the 2 textbook seasons? Well, this completely dramatically depends on what kind of inventory you have. Obviously, if you have like 100% textbooks, you're going to get one experience, and somebody that has no textbooks is going to get a completely different experience. But I consider myself a pretty well-rounded seller. I've got a mix of a lot of different books, and not all my inventory is books. And so with a fairly diverse portfolio of inventory, so to speak, I see my sales roughly triple during textbook season, which is massive. So if your inventory is like heavily lopsided towards textbooks, you could easily see sales increase like 4 or 5 times or more. Now, what specific days or windows of time during each textbook season can you expect to see your sales at their absolute peak? And I actually have an answer for you. For the August textbook season, it's generally the 3rd full week of August. That will be like the peak week of sales. And then in January, which is the time of recording this, you will see sales dramatically spike on the 1st of January. And then the peak is actually usually around the 10th, and it can be kind of weird because it depends on like what day of the week the 10th falls on. So like maybe the first Monday after or just before the 10th, depending on how things work out. But that's roughly when you'll expect to see the peak. And I have to briefly mention, if you're liking this so far, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also go to FBAmastery.com. The link is below this video. Get all this free stuff. Okay, let's get into it. Top 6 ways to make the most amount of money with textbooks on Amazon. Number 1 is going to blow some minds. I'm going to teach you how to hack textbook product pages to sometimes increase the value of your textbooks 4, 5 times, or even more. This comes in 2 parts: selling the access codes, which come inside textbooks oftentimes separately, and number 2, utilizing redundant Amazon product pages where you have 2 product pages for the exact same textbook. I'm going to tell you how to hack this and list on one page instead of another, and sometimes increase the value of your textbooks multiple times over. I'm going to move really fast, so you're going to want to take notes on this or come back and watch it later. Okay, I'm going to go really fast here. Try to keep up because this is powerful stuff. There's a microbiology textbook I found. What does that say right there? $33. Merchant fulfilled. We're not even going to touch FBA right now. $33 merchant fulfilled. Here is the redundant product page. This is extremely common to see these. What does that say down there? $149.99. Exactly the same textbook. Vastly different price. Now, we take the access card out, list it separately. What does that say right there? $15. Assuming the access card is not used, the news price is probably higher. I didn't even check that. We're going to assume we can sell it for at least $15. Okay, hold up. Whoa, like what the heck just happened? Yes. What you saw is what you actually saw. No, your eyes did not deceive you. We just took a book, used a couple small tweaks, took a book that had a merchant fulfilled sales price. We did not even touch the FBA price, which is presumably much higher. Merchant fulfilled sales price of $33 and increased it to $165. That is a 5x increase with just a couple of small tweaks. Took almost no effort at all. Yes, this actually works. Does not work for every textbook, but it works for a lot of them. Massive, massive textbook profit hack. Okay, number 2, and this should have actually been number 1 because it actually is the highest impact, most important thing. The only reason I didn't make this number 1 is I would say the majority of people selling textbooks on Amazon know this already, which is that all pricing rules go completely out the window when it comes to textbooks. And the reason for that is that people that purchase textbooks on Amazon absolutely, and I mean like 95% of the time, must have an FBA, aka Prime eligible offer. They need those benefits. They particularly need the 2nd-day shipping. They need to make sure the book is going to get there fast. Their professor's breathing down their neck. They do not have any room for error, and they must have an FBA offer, which means that you can command insane prices as an FBA seller, well above merchant fulfilled. Now, we all know how it is, right? Usually the price you set is defined by your competitors. So if you got 10 other competitors, you got to price somewhere in that range usually, right? But there's a lot of textbooks like this where the competition is actually pretty limited, or ideally there's no FBA competition at all, which allows you to pretty much price however you want. And so in those instances, particularly, you can price absolutely outrageously high as an FBA seller, way above merch fulfilled, and still get sales. This does work. If you don't know this, you must try it. Okay, number 3, and this is not really like a trick or a hack, it's just like something you must do going into textbook season, which is go through and reprice all of your textbooks just before textbook season, and you want to reprice them with the expectation that a majority of your competition is going to sell out like really, really quick, assuming it's a high demand textbook. So just before, you want to price a little bit above what you normally would, again, with the expectation there's going to be a flood of sales. Sales are going to spike really, really fast. Your competitors are going to sell out, and you'll be next in line. So you're going to price it's like significantly outside your comfort zone as we go into textbook season. If you miss that opportunity and it's a different time of year when you're watching this, by all means, just go through right now and just reprice all your textbooks really high. But particularly just before textbook season, you want to price them even higher than you normally would because, again, sales are going to explode. And as they say, if it sells too fast, you priced it too low. Number 4, also not a trick or a hack. This is just like a basic concept that you must do during textbook season. There's 2 parts to this. You must reprice all your textbooks and your scholarly nonfiction books daily all the way through textbook season in order to get the most amount of money you possibly can. You're going to be repricing up as well as down depending on the item. But here's the one that makes people really uncomfortable. You must do this manually without repricing software. Now, if you have never heard my caustic, crazed person rant about repricing software, I'm not going to go into it now. This will be the subject of a future video. That's going to make I think it's going to ruffle some feathers here. But the basic idea is this. Repricing software has blind spots when it comes to FBA offers. These are blind spots that do not, in most instances, they will not admit these even exist. Particularly, what I'm speaking of specifically is no repricing software can see any FBA offer that's not priced in the bottom 20. And so what that means is, particularly with textbooks, because it's very, very common for textbooks to have a lowest FBA offer outside the bottom 20, it means that your repricing software cannot reprice textbooks that have an FBA offer outside the bottom 20, which means it is completely useless and it won't know what to do, and in all likelihood either will not reprice that textbook or will price it too low in competition with merch fulfilled sellers, which means you're selling your textbook way lower than you should. This is totally, absolutely the worst possible thing you can do during textbook season is turn over your inventory to repricing software. We'll leave the conversation for another time about whether it has a role the rest of the year, but definitely during textbook season, you must absolutely not surrender your textbooks to repricing software. The other reason, setting aside the blind spot reason for now, the other reason is that no repricing software has the granularity that you need to get the most amount of money for your textbooks. The functions and the features simply are not there to price a textbook as granular as you need to again, get the most amount of profits. So again, this is a video for a separate time, but I cannot stress enough, reprice daily, and you must do it manually, even though it's frustrating, even though it's not fun, even though it seems impossible sometimes. You must reprice your inventory daily during textbook season, and you must do it manually. Okay, number 5 is something you can and should apply all year round, whether it's just before textbook season, ideally, or no matter when you're watching this, go and do this right now, which is to edit all of your condition descriptions. Go through and edit all of them to align them with the psychology of the Amazon textbook buyer. The psychology is this. Textbook buyers are unlike other book buyers, and they do not care about like a little torn page or like a ding to a corner. These are college students. They're not sweating those details. They don't care about that. What they care about, if they care about anything, they care about the absence of writing or highlighting. So what this means is if you can put front and center in your condition description that your book does not have writing or highlighting in it, you separate yourself from all your competition because the chances are 95 times out of 100, your competitors have a generic description that just says, may contain writing or highlighting, or doesn't even mention the subject at all, in which case a customer that cares about whether a book has writing or highlighting has no idea whether they're taking a risk, what the risk level is. But if they see your book and they say, oh, wow, this is somebody that actually individually inspected the book, they're confirming there's no writing or highlighting inside, I'm going to go ahead and spend extra even to get this person's book because I can trust I'm getting what I want. I'm getting a book without writing or highlighting. This separates you from all your competition, particularly mega sellers who can never individually inspect every single book. So again, to be really specific here, what I want you to do is go through, edit all of your condition notes to simply say front and center, no writing or highlighting. That's it. Whatever comes after that, do whatever you want. But this needs to be front and center. I had a student, He didn't get a single sale during textbook season. We're like a week in. I had him go through and edit all of his condition descriptions. The only variable is he added this. He got $1,000 in sales the next day. This has a massive impact. Okay, number 6, and lastly, don't panic. You guys, do not panic. There's a lot of misconceptions about textbook season, and people think textbook season means it's a period of time where in a 3-week window where all of your textbooks sell. That is absolutely not what textbook season is. The textbook season is not a mandate from the president that says all Amazon customers like have to buy your books, okay? That's not what it is. You're not going to sell every textbook. Very good, small chance you might, very good chance you're not going to sell every textbook. That's normal, okay? Don't freak out. A lot of people get to the end of textbook season and are like, oh, I did something wrong. I only sold, 65% of my textbooks. That's fine. That's totally fine. Textbooks sell year round. It's cool. Deep breath. Don't worry about it. Don't panic. Don't freak out. Totally normal. Okay, guys, that's it. Buckle up. Whether you're in the middle of textbook season now, just before, any time of year, textbook season is absolutely insane, but only if you do it right. This is Peter Valley signing off. Don't hesitate to reach out, peter@fbamastery.com. And hey, if you got value from this video, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't miss any more videos. And also, perhaps more importantly, hit the link below this video right now to fbamastery.com and get all this free stuff. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video.